All right, it's the rundown, 11/20, November 20th, Monday, November 20th, joined by Klemmer and Frank the Tank. Feast Week officially kicking off. You know what goes great with Feast Week, guys?
What's that?
High Noon. The High Noon El Prez pack is here, featuring the top 4 High Noon vodka salsa flavors as ranked by El Prez himself. I like to call him Dave. But the El Prez pack is here. These flavors include passion fruit, pineapple, pear, and an all-new flavor, tangerine. Let me tell you something. The highlight of surviving Barstool was when they brought this pack in so that we could taste it, and it delivered like no other. I had heard that this was going to be the flavor in the summer and was sitting on it. Tangerine, it's number one for me. I know it's obviously in his 4. It's now number 1. They're all great flavors: pear, passion fruit, pineapple. So lights out. The 12 pack is only here for a limited time, so get it while you can. Just look for the pack with Dave's face on it. You can even scan the QR code on the pack and have El Prez virtually join your party. Visit highnoonspirits.com to find the El Prez pack nearest you. Coming off the NFL, some quick headlines. We kind of jump around the league. The Lions have that big comeback against the Bears, down 12 late. Win the game 31-26 off a crazy safety, which could have screwed people on the cover. The Bears are the right side the whole way. The thing I took about this, Frank, I know you get a little worked up with things. Analytically, didn't it make more sense for the Bears to call some timeouts as you're watching that clock dwindle and dwindle and dwindle? Like, what would you rather have, Frank? A minute and no timeouts to try to go get a field goal to win it? Or they would have been down 3. Yeah, to tie it. Or like 25 seconds and no timeouts.
You got to get as much time possible. And when you have the ball in your hand, you can control the clock. And you got to use those timeouts while the other team has the ball. And I mean, Minnesota did that yesterday, but didn't work because they couldn't get the ball down the field. But they had a very good chance to win that game, very realistic chance to win that game, and they had the ball in their hand. A minute 50 left. They could have won that game, and they just didn't do it. But you have control of the ball. You control the sideline passes, the spiking the ball. You have to use those timeouts. You have to use them while the other team has the ball.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it always seems like people have this like thing of like, oh, they're not going to score on us, and then they go do score, and you stand there with your thumb up your ass. So I know I've gone back and forth with you about this, Klemmer. Like, I don't know. I think I was in the right side. So you can weigh in on the timeouts, but then off of that, Lions 8-2, best record since like the 60s going into Thanksgiving. Seems like they're having a great.
The Lions haven't been 8-2 since 1962.
Yeah, I'd heard that one as well. So. Klemmer, like, you can weigh in on the timeouts, but do you take the Lions as a serious threat here in the NFC?
I mean, I think we have to. I mean, they have the second best record in the NFL. If they were in the AFC, they'd be the number 1 seed right now. And the Lions' schedule isn't that hard the rest of the way. I mean, it's crazy to think the Lions are this good. Like Frank was saying, it hasn't been since John F. Kennedy was president. They've gotten off to this start. But you look at their schedule, it's not that tough.
And if you think about this, I saw this coming for the Lions this year. I thought they set up well to win that division. They finished the season strong, and they've carried it over quite nicely. Goff is a good quarterback. They got Hutchinson's developing into the beast that they expected him to be on defense. And the Detroit Lions are, I said it before the season, I got a few chuckles. I said that the Detroit Lions are going to win a playoff game this year.
I think it's pretty fair.
I think it's a good story, too. They've been so bad for so long. Like, they had Calvin Johnson in his prime. They couldn't do shit with him. They kind of Barry Sanders pretty much wasted Stafford's career. He goes and wins the Super Bowl. That's a great story. But I think it's like we should be excited for the Lions to be the good story on Thanksgiving. So many years, it's like, yeah, I'll watch it if I want, or they're a 10-point dog.
Well, I used to say, I used to joke that Thanksgiving was for 3 things: family, food, and remember the Detroit Lions still exist.
Yeah, it's a fair point. So the Lions, I think, one of the better stories in the league, entertaining. But, they could be looking at home field pretty much, other than the championship game. So interesting kind of layout for the Lions.
And Rico, that first game right now would be against Minnesota. I think like Minnesota at Detroit, like Detroit's going to win that game. I like Josh Dobbs as much as anybody, but like that Detroit has the advantage there. I think they have a really good chance of winning a game this
year. Yeah, and San Francisco has 3 losses too, right?
That's correct.
So they're ahead of them right now. If the Eagles take a loss tonight, do they sneak in front of that? Like, it's an interesting layout here. The Lions could be the number 1 seed. That's very realistic.
The Lions have never played a home playoff game at Ford Field.
Yeah. Well, the MetLife in general, there's been 1 home playoff game in the history of the stadium. And we're going on 14, 15 years now. So crazy. It's just how they do it, but keep jacking up those PSLs. Dolphins overcome 3 turnovers to beat the Raiders. I said this. This was a spread. I know, some people had the Dolphins, but I thought this line was crazy, Frank. I know your team's good. The Raiders have found something here with this interim coach and Pierce, and they're fighting for him. He's a player. I liked it. He went at McDaniels. They kind of had their spat. The Raiders are tough, and they're right in the mix in the hunt, in the AFC as like a spunky team. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? No, but they are spunky as hell.
I hated the spread. I hated the spread when I first saw it. Dolphins didn't play their best game. Their play calling was pretty bad. Defensively, Jalen Ramsey saved the day. Tua had a fumble and a interception where he just overthrew the receiver. But the defense held on when it was needed. But that spread was out of whack to start with. I mean,
yeah, it made no sense.
If the Raiders don't keep Pierce on as next coach next year, then the organization is just clueless. He is the right coach. He did everything about him just screams coach to me.
Klemmer.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. And the spread was 13.5. It was the only win that I had in the 1 o'clock games. I got brutalized yesterday, NFL slate. But I mean, the Raiders, like you said, Rico, they're frisky. If you told me the Raiders have a better record than the Chargers at this time, back in September, I would have said you were crazy. So, but they're 5-6. I agree with you, Rico. They're not going to make the playoffs. Houston is 6-4. Like, I don't, Pittsburgh 6-4. I don't see them catching that, which kind of puts them in
that coach in Los Angeles. That the Chargers coach might be about the dumbest coach ever, and now he's sniping at the media. Your decision making, your play calling every week, every week the Chargers are in a close game, and they don't win close games because they can't win close games because he is the worst coach in the NFL.
There's no way we see Brandon Staley on the sidelines next year. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Chargers should be looking at. Listen, Herbert's unbelievable. I think they should be thinking outside the box. How much could they get for Herbert? I don't know. You're never really going to get the true value, and you're always looking in your rear view of like, if we trade him, does he come back to bite us in the ass? But man, I don't know. It just seems like he's not going to win there. And you look at their history of quarterbacks, like Rivers was good. I don't know. It just seems like somebody's cursed out in this franchise.
You don't think a new coach could fix it though? Like I do.
That's where the tough part is. You got to give him another 2 or 3 years. So like, that's where
he's having a good year, Rico. Like, I mean, I know the wins aren't there, but he's got 19 touchdowns, 5 picks, I think.
Well, let's put it this way. I would not trade him. I would not trade him because of production. I would trade him for the sense of how much value I could get back.
They have a lot of holes in that team.
No. He's a franchise quarterback. And the problem is you got a coach that this coach couldn't win with Tom Brady, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice. He's that bad of coach. He couldn't. If you gave him the 22 best football players in the history of the NFL, put him on his roster, Staley would still find a way to go 8-9.
Yeah, but it feels like Herbert has the ball in his hands a lot for a fourth quarter comeback. He doesn't get it done as well. Now that's his defense put in a bad spot. I guess it's a chicken and egg, so it is what it is. But
the other thing with Herbert too, Rico, is like he's young. Like he's the same age as Aiden O'Connell. They're both 25. We think of Aiden O'Connell as this rookie, which he is, I guess. But Herbert has a lot more to grow. I think Herbert's only going to get better. I believe in Herbert. I would fire Staley and then see what I have at that point.
Yeah. Tommy DeVito, chicken cutlets for life in his house. Sam Howell, 6 turnovers for Washington. Probably hurts as a Giant fan, screwed us in the pick, but I was impressed with Tommy DeVito, at least for this week. Frank, I'm sure you have punchlines and this and that, but I thought it was a valiant effort by the Giants.
Not many
Magic
people are trying
Johnson
to
said
him.
it best. We had they got the Giants scored 24 points off turnovers. I mean, Magic Johnson had a rant that was worthy of me.
Magic
Talking
Johnson
about the
was the
Commanders.
man?
I wouldn't have imagined him as a Commanders fan, but I
Oh, he's
guess
older.
the
Part
Lions
owner.
have been so bad so long. I would expect Magic to be a Lions fan, if anything, growing up in Michigan over there. But yeah, he was ranting about how the Commanders lost this week. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but it was like 6 hours later. So did he really care that much about the game?
Mm.
He's
But-
an interesting cat. He's an interesting cat. Zach Wilson benched, rightfully so, with the Jets. They're just a disaster. I think Rodgers could save that comeback.
Laugh it up, Frank. Laugh it up.
Do you really take much away from the Bills, though? Like now, are they back with this new offensive coordinator? Can they be fixed?
Well, here's the thing. Tony Romo is going, oh, the Bills are Super Bowl favorites. Yeah, they're going to go through a gauntlet the next 3 weeks. I believe they play the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Cowboys.
That'll kill you.
I mean, if they go 3-0, then they're back. Until they go through that gauntlet, don't talk to me about the Bills.
You don't need to go 3-0, Frank. With the Bengals losing their quarterback for this season, Burrow's out. That wild card is all of a sudden up for grabs.
Yeah, they got to go 2-1. They got to go. They also got to show us they could beat good teams. So
I think for them, they just need to get there. They just, they're only half game out.
Well,
right
I'm not concerned about the Bills in the wild card. That's not what I'm concerned about.
what, you think they'll make a run at the division, Frank?
Well, that's where I just want them. I just keep 2-game cushion and I'm happy.
Yep. Makes sense. Yeah.
Well, Miami's going to win the
worried.
division, Frank. You still have 2 games against the Jets. I mean, and by the way, the Jets just announced they're starting Tim Boyle for that Friday game. That Jets we're done. We're tanking now.
Almost like Mark Sanchez's career was summed up by the butt fumble. I think the image of Zach Wilson jogging backward and falling on his ass yesterday.
Yeah, that's a tough edit for him. With that falling on his ass, you couldn't script that any more perfect.
I mean, I don't know how Boyle's going to do against Dolphins. Jalen Ramsey's back. He's done. The Dolphins defense is playing a lot better than they did previously. The Jets. I think the Jets were on the verge of a locker room revolt if Zach Wilson started another game.
I mean, I can tell you how Tim Boyle's going to do, Frank. He's going to do horrible. He's a horrible quarterback.
Yeah, he's bad. Klemmer, the thing I would ask long term for the Jets, in all seriousness, Rodgers is signed for what? 1 more year?
Yeah.
So what the fuck are they doing? Because he's old as it is. At any point, he could be like, you know what? I want to go hook up with models and do Madagascar in the fucking woods and whatever. Do I think he still has the drive to show he's got something left? Yeah, but that's 1 year. So then you sign him for the 1 year. I actually think it's the worst case scenario if he has a good year. A good enough gets them to the divisional, whatever. And then it's oh shit, well, of course we have to re-sign him. I think you're just prolonging you eventually need another, you need another quarterback. So do you pass up? They're going to have a top 5 pick. Well, they'll have a top 6 or 7 pick this year. Do you take one this year? Knowing, and then he sits for they're in kind of a fucking,
I don't mind that.
They're in a blender. They're in a blender of a situation. Well, the other thing is you don't mind that, but Rodgers bitched and moaned when they took Jordan Love. So then are you going to piss him off? You're in a fucking blender.
The other problem too, Rico, is that we don't have.
What about the guy, Travis here, Florida State's quarterback?
He's out for the year.
What?
He got hurt horrifically.
Yeah. And the Jets draft him. He's the perfect quarterback to sit here. Maybe you get him a steal in the 3rd, 4th round.
He had a massive leg injury. Let's let the guy have surgery before we realize.
But you could draft him in a later round.
Frank, I literally almost fell out of my chair. You want them to take a guy off a massive leg injury just because he's going to sit here with a top 7 pick? Let's
I said not top 7 pick. I said 3rd, 4th round.
Frank, let's role play. I'm a season ticket holder with a PSL. You're the GM. You call my phone, or I call you, or the ticket service, which are a bunch of crooks over there anyway. You play the ticket service person. I call you. Hello, Mr. Fleming. I'd like to cancel my season tickets. Can you please justify how you drafted Jordan Travis as a top 7 pick with the idea that you were going to sit him
third
for
or fourth round.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the other issue.
Well, Frank, I only mentioned the top 7 pick, and the first name you say is Jordan Travis.
Well, I said that you don't have to do that. You could take a Jordan Travis in the third or fourth round.
The bigger problem for the Jets is we don't have an offensive line. So we got to fix that problem. This isn't like this is just a Zach Wilson issue, although it is a Zach Wilson issue. And Rico, you said like the worst case scenario is like you have to resign him. No, the worst case scenario is he comes back next year and he kind of sucks. And then that 2-year window is closed. Yeah. And now we got to pay guys like Sauce Gardner, pay guys like Aaron, pay guys like Breece Hall. So that's the issue. Or is that we're fucked. Like that window is only 2 years. Now it's only 1 year. And I don't know. This is a disaster. I don't know. This season sucks. I don't know. This is awful. Tim Boyle's horrible. Expect the worst on Friday.
It's a mess. CJ Stroud. Well, Broncos win by 1 last night. Ugly, kind of an ugly game. Broncos move to 5-5. If they do make the playoffs, I don't really care. I don't really take them seriously. I think Russ Wilson's kind of trash. Dobbs is a fun story. Didn't play great last night. I'd like to see I want to see all the good stories make the playoffs. I don't think the Broncos are a good story. I think the Vikings are. CJ Stroud has some bad turnovers, 3 INTs, but he made that marvelous throw in the corner of the end zone to Tank Dell. I think he's a great story as well. I'd love to see the Texans-Bills somehow in a playoff game in the wild card round so we could settle this Stroud-Allen, who's putting you in a better spot once and for all.
Well, I don't think there's any way that happens. Like,
yeah, I know. All right, now fair enough. But either way, it's, Stroud's been great. He had a tough one. He still is a rookie, so I think he should be getting – Frank, how about this? I saw this one. No rookie quarterback has received an MVP vote since 1983 with Dan Marino.
Wow.
Not even a vote. Crazy. So, goes to show
I doubt he gets an MVP vote, but he's a lock now for Rookie of the Year. And
without a doubt. Yeah, he lost the MVP.
And you got to be thinking about the Carolina Panthers. Boy, you blew it.
Yeah, but that's always hindsight's always 20/20. Coming out of the draft, you could see both of them.
And the fact that they don't have their draft pick is going to the Bears.
That's the thing, Rico. You can't.
That's where it's fucked up. Yep.
You knew they were going to be bad this year. Like, you didn't know they'd be this bad, but you knew they weren't going to be good. Bryce Young was a rookie quarterback.
Well, you know what's funny? I was looking at a magazine on my desk. Somebody picked Carolina to win that division.
Oh. It's the one good thing the Bears GM did was make that move, because now it's going to set up the next GM really well. You're going to have 2 first-round picks, 2 top 5 picks potentially, and you have Justin Fields. It's not a bad starting point.
You mean Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good spot to be. Chiefs-Eagles tonight, maybe the best Monday night game of the year. Should be an unreal stream. Should have Roan, Smitty, Eagles people. We'll obviously probably be betting the Chiefs right in their face. I know Frank's going to probably be riling some people up. I'm excited for this one. You have a pick on tonight? I think it's the Chiefs. Mahomes is like Brady to me. There's something comforting about just betting him in tight spots. -2. What's the line? -3?
2.5, 3, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Like, I basically just have to win the game until it goes wrong. And it's even better in like playoff type things. Like, oh, they're playing the Bengals and he's, this, or he's got the Bills and it's -2 and this and that. Just give me Mahomes. That fucking team is unbelievable.
I kind of like the Eagles tonight. I kind of like the Eagles.
All right.
I think the Eagles. I think the Chiefs have less to play for, and the Eagles have just this is revenge. We want to show that we're the best team in the NFL. We want everyone talking about us. I think the Eagles have a good performance. I think it's a close game. I think it's a field goal game, but I think the Eagles pull it out.
Yeah. I'm on the Chiefs. But one thing to be aware of, tons of rain. It's supposed to rain a ton. I think the over-under dropped like 4 or 5 points just in the last 24 hours because of the weather.
Yeah, that I think helps Philadelphia because that offensive line there. That offensive line with Jason Kelsey. I think they love the rain. I think they love the slop.
Yeah. College football, Washington Game of the weekend, probably Washington survives Oregon State. It seems like Washington, we touched on this on Pick'em, we just recorded it. Every time you count out Washington, it's like, man, they pull out another win. So I'm interested to see. I do think the Apple Cup will be a little pesky. Wazoo, everything crazy happens with them. But Washington in the Pac-12 title game, if Oregon gets through Oregon State, should be unbelievable. That was a great regular season game as it was. So I'm looking forward to that. We touched on Jordan Travis, gruesome injury. Frank, what do you make of this? You're a big like Heisman type guy in hierarchy. Jaden Daniels has been smoking teams. You know, the 8 touchdowns against Georgia State. They're at least the second best team in their division, maybe the third or fourth best team in the SEC. You think he should win the Heisman with his numbers?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't care what he puts up against these cupcakes. SEC always with the cupcake week in November. I mean, I mean, this is where you should be playing the best teams, and you're playing the worst teams. I mean, I've never liked the SEC doing that. The cupcake week. I kind of like the guy out there in Oregon, Nix.
He's unbelievable. I think, yeah, I don't know. He should be available. He's turned himself into a really, really good quarterback. I'd love to see the Giants get him if it falls, but we'll see. Klemmer, I know you were watching this. PFT on College Game Day had a very funny clip with his one-liners to Corso. I'm getting some slack. Obviously, I gave him the game of the year.
Right.
It loses on the spread. Never was covering. Kansas had a great game plan. They had a decoy. The good quarterback never played. They ran some wildcat. Kansas State got it a little hairy late, had the ball, but ran out the clock. Never the right side. But PFT gets a winner in K-State outright, but he loses game of the year. Some very funny stuff with those clips, going back to James Madison and different things like that.
I was thinking, Rico, what were you thinking watching that? Like, you get a name drop.
It was a watershed. It was an unbelievable moment for me as a little kid growing up watching that show on Saturdays with your dad, putting on the pads before you're gonna go play. In college, watching it after my season was done, or if we had a night game on Friday night in high school, like it was to hear your name mentioned on College Game Day was awesome. That was.
I saw that people asked me. I gave PFT a B plus. They said, "What could he have done to give me an A?" 3 names on me.
Yeah. He should have worked in Frank Tank. Yeah, should have worked in Frank Tank.
But Lee Corso, I think it's almost like the president when they pull him out now. It's.
I know you say that, but you know what is really nice, Frank, is Herb Street has such a big heart because he takes care of him, and he does deserve that respect because he is a fucking sharp guy, but he's old. He's like our grandfathers,
Yeah.
So,
well, he
comes out like people.
He's out there
people
for the headgear picks.
He made that a thing. People always come at me, and they're like, why do you shit on Dick Vitale? It's because Dick Vitale during the game is taking the focus off the game with all his antics and just rambling and this and that. Lee Corso, that's a TV show. It's supposed to be antics. So like him with the thing and him saying things.
When Corso's not on there, it's not the same. It's not
right.
It's not as fun.
Yeah,
Corso is 88 years old, Rico. 88 years old. Like,
he hasn't been traveling to all of them. Herb Street helps him. Herb Street says, "Okay, coach, what are you going to say?" Herb Street is what a class act. I'd love to meet him. But yeah, so the real story though this weekend we're going to hear all about.
He was a high school roommate, not college roommate of Burt Reynolds.
Really?
At Florida State.
Wow.
Yeah. The thing they played with him coaching at Navy that made him cry a couple of years ago, like he's an all-time character. So I love it. I'm gonna miss Corso. It's a shame because we're running out of time. And I don't know if he's announced that he's completely done, but they're phasing him out of obviously and they do the right thing. They take him out of periods of time where they know he's gonna have to explain things a lot. So it is what it is. The real story, we're going to get this thing covered forever. It's the biggest game in Barstool regular season history, one of the biggest games in Barstool ever. Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan opens as a 3.5-point favorite. if you're Ryan Day and you lose this one, I don't know how they keep you because you're the AD. Like, how do you justify you lost without their coach? They got one hand behind their back. I think Michigan gives it to them. I think it's going to be a war, but I think Michigan comes out on top and wins this one.
I think this is going to be, and these teams are probably one of the best rivalries in college football, especially right now with Auburn sucking. I mean, it is the best college rivalry right now, and I think this is going to be the most intense meeting of these two teams ever.
Well, I think you can make a case for all of college football, Frank. So help me out. Klemmer, too. You're 100 years old. 1993, Frank. Wasn't it number 1 versus number 2, Florida State, Notre Dame? The first ever road show for college game day?
Yes.
Okay,
That was
but
actually on
there
my
was
birthday,
not,
my 18th birthday, that game, November 13th, 1993.
but there was not bad blood off the field. There weren't crazy storylines. This is the biggest regular season game in college football history, right?
No.
No?
Nope. Thanksgiving 1971, 1 versus 2, Nebraska, Oklahoma. And it was people stopped their Thanksgiving dinners to watch this game. It overshadowed the NFL games.
So since 1982, biggest game in history, regular season.
I'd say it's probably the best game in the big last 30 years. Yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm not even dreaming. Usually I have other bets going. You're flipping to see scores. I'm not dreaming of changing the channel on this one. So
Reese,
this is,
I mean,
over is 46.5. Where do you see that falling?
I would lead under.
Okay.
Under, and I like Michigan. So we'll hear all about it. The live show, they'll be out there for that. Dave and Ev going at each other.
Frank was saying on the stream.
What?
Frank was saying on the stream how much he hates the Ohio State. How they say the Ohio State.
That is so it's grating. It is grating and annoying. And I can't. Ohio State can't. State University in Ohio can't lose enough for me. It's just a state university in Ohio. That's who they are.
Well, they ruined your boys' trip this year too, Frank. You were out at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Is going to be a yearly thing? You and the guys?
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be going on a dirty ballpark tour. We're going to be doing a lot of adventures are coming up.
Yeah, it's nice that you're doing all those things with your friends. One of your other friends seems to invite you to a college basketball game. You can't find it in your schedule.
Well, I want to go out to Arkansas State. I just got to find the right date to go out to Arkansas State.
All right, we'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, Ev's probably gonna need some security out at Michigan at the Big House. Speaking of security, second half of the rundown brought to you by SimpliSafe. There's never a wrong time to protect your home, but this fall happens to be an extremely good one because you can get up to 50% off of a brand new SimpliSafe home security system. It was named the best home security of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. SimpliSafe is a comprehensive protection of the whole home with advanced sensors that detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more, plus HD cameras for both inside and out. With the holiday season quickly approaching, there is no better way to feel at ease than with SimpliSafe. It's powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day and half the cost of traditional home security. With the new 24/7 live guard protection and the smart alarm wireless indoor camera, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders, helping stop crime in real time. A powerful technology exclusively from SimpliSafe. I got SimpliSafe at my house. Best thing I ever did. SimpliSafe is backed by SimpliSafe's money-back guarantee. Try SimpliSafe for 60 days, risk-free. If you don't love it, return your system for a full refund. For a limited time, listeners can get a special 50% off any SimpliSafe system with a fast protection plan. Visit SimpliSafe.com/rundown. That's SimpliSafe.com/rundown. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Second half of the rundown, Shohei Ohtani is going to have secret meetings with teams. He's reportedly going to hold it against teams if they leak the information. Having worked in a front office of a sports franchise, the thing I will say is they better not let any of the fucking minions know that Ohtani's coming in the building. don't let it hit the group texts. Don't let a friend of a beat reporter get it out there. If he's going to the Mets and you got some idiot in ticket service seeing
Or
him
Andy
down the
Martino with those
hallway,
stupid Beetle dolls behind him will be the first one to report it.
who will?
Andy Martino with those stupid 4 Beetle dolls behind him.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to protect this. I think the best way to do this is do meetings in the middle of the night or do them late at night, like super secretive, or get the popcorn machine that Taylor Swift's been like hiding in, bringing them in. You don't want to insult the guy, but if you're taking it serious, then we're taking it serious. So you don't want to cost yourselves Ohtani by leaking the information, and it's going to be some kind of minion, friend of a friend. So it is what it is. Klemmer, what do you got on this? Playing this close to the vest.
Yeah, I mean, Ohtani is a famously very private person. Not a surprise that he wants to have this really close to the vest. I think it's smart for his team to actually do it off site. Go to either, I know like when the Red Sox negotiated with Kurt Schilling, they actually went to Schilling's house. Like, do something off site. Don't let the media know. Try to keep it as quiet as possible. One thing that came up this weekend was the Dodgers are interested in both Ohtani and Trout, which is wild. The other thing that came out was the Mariners probably can't afford Ohtani. I thought that would be a good match. Ohtani gives in Seattle in the offseason, but I guess Seattle doesn't have the $50 million a year extra in their budget to afford him. So you wonder who's going to jump in. You got the Giants, you got the Dodgers, you got the Cubs, probably some mystery teams in there.
Are the Mets completely out of it?
Yes.
Not financially, but I don't see anything at all that they're attached to him.
Yeah. What if they completely corner the market and go get the Yamamoto guy, him? They got Senga already.
Yeah, I mean that would make for a very incredible rotation. I don't see that happen. I don't see them spending $75 million more on those two guys a year. And remember, Ohtani can't pitch next year.
Right. So yeah, it's a tough spot. LSU women's basketball is in a fucking pickle. Coming off a national title last year, a memorable game. They beat Caitlin Clark in Iowa. It seems like things are a fucking disaster now. Angel Reese is reportedly benched for having low grades. She obviously got famous, had a ton of NIL deals. She was in rap videos, things like that. It was weird it was unknown why she was being suspended. Now I guess it is official. This is the GPA. Kim Mulkey's not really answering things. Mulkey's a very interesting character herself. She's kind of look at me, but I can't get enough of her. I think she's fucking great with the crazy outfits and acting like a wacko. Frank,
she is a psycho coach. She is a
I love her,
psycho.
though. I love her. But Frank, what do you make of this? Coming off a title, the whole locker room kind of falls apart. What do you equate? Has there been something to equate this to? Like, in terms of
it could be just like a little bit of jealousy over NIL deals. These they're gonna make some money, but this isn't like men's basketball where they're guaranteed big contracts the minute they signed to get to the NBA with shoe deals and everything. So they have to fight and scrap for every little dollar they get and every little dime they get, and it's a little harder for the women, and there could be just a little jealousy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. See if they're going to get it on track together, because they do have, they're one of the favorites to come back and make it. I've been watching a little bit of women's with the highlights. Caitlin Clark's unbelievable. There's this other girl. I got to get the name. Frank, you got to watch this girl. Malaysia Fulwiley from South Carolina, a freshman. She makes a move in transition that goes like around her back in for a layup. She's lights out too. The women's game is interesting. A lot of players for sure.
It's definitely improving the style of play.
Yeah, Frank's. It's like getting water from a rock to get compliments from Frank. So, come on, Frank. She's unbelievable. I'll send you the highlights. She's unbelievable.
I admit I don't watch much women's basketball.
I know.
No?
All right, last one. Mr. Beast buried himself alive for 7 days. YouTube personality Mr. Beast made a video of himself being buried alive in a glass coffin for 7 days. Dave did it first. Cyber Monday coming up, by the way. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. There was a camera on him the whole time. Medical staff provided, assurance, safety. 57 million views in 24 hours, which is crazy. Mr. Beast, I thought he'd be worth more than this. He's only got 5 million. I thought he would make 5 million in YouTube alone.
That shocked me. That was the biggest takeaway I had from the article. He's only worth 5 million?
Super low. The video made it seem real, but how did he go to the bathroom?
Do you have a catheter, maybe?
It depends.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Depends.
Frank, how long would you last in this thing?
I probably wouldn't last 30 minutes. So,
I
but
think it
I do
depends.
remember Dave doing that for Cyber Monday. Of course, tune in. It's going to be the event of the year, Cyber Monday next week.
It depends. I think it depends how quickly I could fall asleep and how long I would stay asleep. And then the minute I woke up, I would pop my head up on the thing and be like, all right, I got to get the hell out of here. So, Klemmer, what's your takeaway, Mr. Beast?
Yeah, I mean, being alone for that long makes you go crazy. Like, that's why solitary confinement's the thing. Yeah, that seems awful. Like I said, honestly, the biggest takeaway for you, Rico, I guess we're talking about $5 million.
Yeah,
Mr. Beast is like the biggest name in like YouTube, right? Like that must not be right. Also, doesn't he give like tons of shit away? Like
he just hands money out left and right. Yeah, I've seen the videos. They go into a store, stack everything you can,
buy the whole store.
It's nuts.
Hey guys, I need a correction. That was a typo on my part. It's 500 million.
Wow.
All right. Now we're
quite a typo.
I like that. All right.
That's the type of typo that usually comes with the federal government, where they say that their budget's 500 million, but they really need 5 million, and they pocket the other 495 million.
500 million makes a lot more sense. That now I'm on board.
Yeah, good edit by John. Hey, John, we don't make mistakes, all right? Kansas State -8. You know what I mean? So it's what it is. Aftershow, Barstool Store, Cyber Monday, Black Friday. This Unreal hoodie, it's got the thing with your neck. Super easy in the winter. The stuff we make is unbelievable. Frank, you got some stuff out? I know you reply all when they first send that email. What do you got going on?
Well, I got the Raw Dog season shirt is back, and then we got a Christmas sweater this year. Another holiday season is upon us.
Is that what it says? Another holiday season is upon us?
Another Merry Christmas, yes.
Another Merry Christmas. All right, I like that, Frank. I like that a lot.
This hoodie too, Rico. This is a brand new one, I guess. Has this crazy stuff in the back. I like that.
Frank, you should think about autographing one of those sweatshirts.
Yeah, I'm available to autograph anything.
Yeah, so we get the people going. It's all going to the people behind the scenes, obviously, so very deserving of it.
And it is Black Friday, Black Friday, Black Friday, and we have deals.
Black Friday starts now or soon, depending on when I post it. The entire Barstool store.
Go to the Barstool Sports store. Go.
Tonight, the Barstool Sports store, Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Last time it sold out in like
fast. Black Friday sales still going.
20% off the entire Barstool Sports store. 20% off the entire Barstool Sports store.
Go, let's hit the goal. Let's get them more than we can. Get them a Christmas bonus.
You know, any money that comes in, the pie, we got to get expand the pie so we have more pie.
Yeah, Frank, you're a mafia guy. Everybody eats. You know, you got to take care of your guys. I see you rolling with your crew.
Yes, indeed.
Exactly. So, all right, that's the rundown. Enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow.